is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of automated trading, we will be using AC2 along with the SMA. So this is a continuation of last two parts of the accelerator, decelerator, oscillator, in which to optimize the algorithm which we have developed so far, we will be adding the SMA, and then afterward, if the time permits, in today's session itself, min max, or maybe in continuation with our development, maybe tomorrow or day after that. I hope you know the working of the accelerator, decelerator, oscillator, and these are we have already gone through these details. And to that, the SMA will be added and min max. And before we get started, I would also like to give this disclaimer that this session is for a tutorial purpose only, and no advice for trading or any use of system is given. And also, there is no claim being made for the profitability or otherwise of the algorithms which we will be developing here. And even when you do decide to use any of the developed or even your own algorithms, you should first do the extensive trial runs and also some mock runs on the demo account before you start using the algorithms for live account in on real money. So let's get started. Let's take a brief recap of what we have done so far. So in yesterday's session, we had seen that we had executed the algorithm, we had compiled it and also did the test runs, and our trades were getting executed as desired when the trend was shifting to the bullish from bearish momentum. The buy trade was getting placed, and when the momentum was shifting from bullish to bearish, the sell trade was being executed. So our basic idea behind the trading with AC2 has been that we simply want our trades to be executed during the initial hours of the trend change, and we had also used the pending order to make sure that we are getting the best of the spread and of course the price, and we were placing the order just 5 pips above or below while placing the sell and buy trades respectively. So here we will take a brief recap of the development done so far. Here is the instrument subscription. We have subscribed to the Euro USD here, and the position amount has been taken as 0. And then we added this AC2 indicator, and we have utilized shift 0, then shift 1 and shift 2 to be able to accurately gauge the change of momentum from bullish to bearish or from bearish to bullish. And then we also used the calculation expressions to determine the buy entry and the sell entry for our trading purpose. And also let's take a look on the conditions. We have defined that for a sell trade, so this is the sell side, and for a sell trade the AC2 should be falling, and that's why we have written here that the current AC2 should be lower than the prior AC2, and both these prior negative value should be less than 0, and before that a period back, that is shift 2, we have given that the bullish momentum should be there, and this will indicate that the momentum is just freshly turning from bullish to bearish, and it is more likely to continue for some time. And similar is the setup for the buy trade. So now let's get started for the optimization. So as you can notice on the chart, we will I will just enlarge it to give you a better idea, and then we will again so here you can notice that this momentum here turns from bearish to bullish. So here the buy order should be placed somewhere here, and then after some time again the momentum turns from bullish to bearish, and here again this trend change happens, and even that doesn't go far, and after some time, after a few hours, again the momentum shifts from bearish to bullish, and here we have now this time around when the momentum shifts finally the euro USD picks up, and we see significant buying which pushes eventually euro USD lot higher, and then again the shift of undertone, and again consolidation, and again here the momentum shifts. So if you notice, if you can go back in time as well and observe the charts carefully, and you will notice that this AC2 indicator is giving signals too frequently, but if we simply decide to trade only when the major momentum is also being complemented by the AC2, I think we will have a better chance, a higher probability of making decent amount of money. So here you can simply observe that the momentum is most of the time either bullish or bearish, and one simple way to determine if the momentum is bearish or bullish, of course it's not kind of certain, the momentum can change anytime, but broadly to get us better idea, we can utilize this SMA 50 hours. So 50 hours is roughly corresponding to 2 days of simple moving average. So 24 hours is 1 day, 48 hours 2 days, and we have added 2 more hours, so we get the 50 number, and it will be taking the average value for last 2 days, and if the momentum is bearish, that is if the sellers are having more pronounced effect on the price action of the underlying instrument, then the momentum then the SMA would be declining, and we will be having a pretty good idea that the momentum is on the bearish side, and it's not a good deal to go for buying side trade. So here if you just simply observe this fall in the euro USD starting from 1.108 to almost close to 1.088 or 200 pips fall, here you will notice that many a times the momentum is shifting from bearish to bullish, but the price is not really picking up, and after due consolidation again the momentum is shifting from bullish to bearish, and then we are seeing that the fall is continuing, and it wouldn't be a good idea to go in for a long trade in such a scenario, and it keeps happening again and again, and all the way to this 1.08 level, and finally yesterday we saw some revival after due consolidation closer to 1.078, and then the momentum shifts here. So if we simply add the SMA, and then we can do something like this, we utilize the current SMA value, and maybe we go back 5 or 6 hours, and we pick the shift 5 or 6, anything I think will do. Let's utilize shift 5, so that will be 5 hours back, and suppose if the current time is 7 GMT of the 14th February, then we will compare that SMA value with the value 5 periods back, so that will be 2 GMT, and we go back to 2 GMT and see what is the value of the SMA, and SMA's value is 1.087, and the current value is 1.0868, so the current value is less than the prior value, and we can infer that the momentum is bearish, and it's a better idea, it's a better deal to continue to look for a short sale here. So if we simply add this condition, what happens is that the trades will be getting executed only when the only when the major trend is also being matched by the initial shift of momentum using the AC2. So I think that will make our algorithm more profitable. And then once we have done this condition, we will also see that it's more profitable if we are shorting it close to this SMA level rather than shorting it when the price has already shifted a lot to the lower side, and also that will help us keep the stop losses minimum, and that's one of the reasons why I prefer to get the price as close to this our crucial market zone as possible. So let's add the SMA in our algorithm. We will need to add two SMA blocks for our current setup, and I think five, or we can let's go with the five shift periods. So we will be comparing the current value with the 5 periods back value, and for that we add SMA blocks here, the indicator, MA, moving averages, and in the moving averages we will look for the SMA. So here we are bringing in the SMA, and I think we are doing well, yes. And SMA, and one more we will need. So we bring in another block of the SMA, and then we will need to define the conditions as well. We utilize this space. Bid size, offer side is bid, closing price, and line 42, and here we add this, and now to match to connect it with multiple action block, we will need to bring the block here and then join the lines, and it will be all set. Okay, so here we have joined the connections as well after adding the SMA blocks. So the values of the SMA calculated are available while executing the trade. Now it's one is shift 0 and another is need to be converted to shift 5. So I will here add 5, and output value is line 42, here line 43, and we need to define it on the hourly setup, so that the 50 hour will mean 2 days, closer to 2 days. Here we are changing it to hourly, and the time period is to be kept of 50. So we write here 50. We are adding these SMA blocks with necessary conditions for being able to compare where the momentum is headed. If it's bullish, we will think about going for buy trades. If it's bearish, we will be looking for the short sale opportunity. But now we are done with the indicator. We bring in the logical components of the algorithm, and we will add two blocks here, one for the buy side, one for the sell side, and then we will see both are by bid side, and we need to add the current line along with the prior line, current line, and here this is the prior line, and we take this both of the conditions to the algorithm setup, and what this algorithm setup means is that now we can trade with the combination of AC2 along with the SMA, and we simply disconnect these and add the SMA condition, and here the positive value should be greater than 0, so we will keep it as it is and just add this indicator, and now we can connect it to the pending open, and the line 42 should be lower than the prior period's SMA. That means that the momentum is on the sell side, and it's a better idea to keep trading on the short sell side. Now this is a buy, and here also we bring in the pending open, and we disconnect this. It is to be greater, positive trend is greater, and this should be rising. So the current SMA should be higher than the prior SMA. So we have done most of these developments. Now let's go back to the chart first to see what the effect of change might be on our algorithm, and then we will think about adding fresh conditions as well. So here it is, and when we say that the trade is to be taken if a clear sign of the trend is visible on the chart using the SMA setup. Now if the SMA price is falling, it will look for short sell opportunity, and if the SMA price is rising, it will look for buying opportunity. And here further there are two requirements for our trade setup, and those can be defined as we want the trade to happen as close to the middle line, the SMA line, as possible. We don't want the trade to be executed after significant amount of selling pressure has already been exerted. So here, as you can notice, that the swing high is of around 1.082, and by the time the AC2 turns into bearish from bullish, that is 19 GMT on the 20th of February. So let me check here. By the time the AC2 changes its momentum from bearish to pardon me. So here a lot of selling has already happened, and Euro USD is already 30 pips down from its recent swing high, and I don't think that's a good idea to look for a fresh short sell opportunity at this current level. So to make sure that we are not selling after significant deviation has already happened, we can add some indicator also, or we can also utilize the SMA level, but it will be better if we add the min max here, and for that we will bring in the min max of maybe 5 or 10 hours, and let me zoom out, and then we will add min max to see what combination will look better. So here is the min max closing price. We don't want the closing price, we want low price, and then we will need a high price, and the time period is of 30. So we make it 60. Here we have got this maxima, but I think we will need to utilize separate indicators, as this is not giving us both the values. So we bring in the separate indicators here, and indicator min math operator and the lowest value, and here we utilize 60, and the price is to be of lowest, and on top of that we will add a max value on the upper side, and the max value would also we need to be of the same, and here instead of lowest price we bring in the high price to determine the high. And as you can see, here we have this low price, and here this is the highest price, and we have this price action channel where the Euro USD is consolidating for some time, and then the fresh selling is beginning to emerge. Now on this chart you can notice that our trade setup is now looking promising. Of course we will need to do some optimization as well, but even now, so how we define this use of min max is up to us, and what we can do, we can also write it like this, that we want the minimum value to be of some significance. It should be less than the underlying value of the instrument, and suppose if we want the distance to be of around 30 pips, then we will need to add or subtract 30 pips from the SM level depending on our requirement. And on the hourly chart, now we will need to add the min max levels. I think we won't be able to do the test runs today. We will simply add the charts, and I will explain you the setup, and then tomorrow we will be able to do the test runs, I guess. So let me add a min max value. Here it is mathematical, and we will need a indicator. Among the indicators there is this mathematical section, and from here we will pick up this min max, and we will need two min max block. One should be of bid low price, and one should be of ask high price. Now we define it to be of 1 hour, once we are done with making it of hourly, we will be able. So here, this is the new requirement for the SMA. And now, though we have decided to go for hourly setup, I think we will also need to see that the momentum is still there. So we will need to utilize the min-max in two ways, where we see that the minimum of last few hours should be sufficiently low enough from the current price action zone, just to make sure that we are on the right side of the momentum, and we are not messing up anything. And also we will need to utilize the SMA and min-max of the lower time frame. So here we will first reduce the timeline, and then on the next optimization we will add this difference, and this difference should be of at least 20 to 30 pips from the current zone of the SMA. So let's see how the price action has behaved historically to gauge an idea of whether it will be effective or not. So here it is. I think we should be keeping this difference close to 25 pips on the hourly chart. So we can say that for past 12 hours the immediate swing low should be less than the SMA level, current SMA level, by at least 25 pips. So we can define the algorithm that way as well. Another way is to first reduce this hourly setup to, I think 60 and 10 hours should be good enough. So we say that in last 10 hours maxima should not be much higher than the SMA levels, and it should be within the tight range, maybe around 10-15 pips. Even 15 pips is a lot. We will let's take a look, and then we will decide whether to keep it of 5 pips or whether to keep it of 10 pips. So here again we are heading to the algorithm, and if this time around a short sale trade was going to happen, as you can see that the price action was taking place close to 1.080, and then the immediate swing high was made close to 1.0815. So that's a difference of 8 to 9 pips. So I think 10 pips should be good enough, and we define that the maximum value of last 12 hours should not be greater than 10 pips from the SMA value of the current time period, and we do the math and then we arrive at a conclusion. And also we can say that whenever the order will be getting placed, this SMA shouldn't have fallen too far, and it should be closer to the SMA level. So on the both sides we can do some calculations and add these SMA and min-max conditions to optimize the algorithm, so that our chances of suffering losses would be lower. So we convert these hourly min-max setup to 10 minutes, and then we will add 60 as a time period, defined time period. So let's go with the 10 minutes, and we will need to now find space for one more line. So maybe we will need to accommodate this min-max here only. So now we have connected these min-max, and we will add 60 as the time period, so that 10 hours value is given by this algorithm, and we want the price to be within the 10 pips band on the either side of the SMA. It shouldn't have risen too much, nor it should have fallen too much when we are going to execute the fresh trend. So that's why what we are going to do, we are kind of creating a band, artificial band of 10 pips on the upper side, 10 pips on the lower side, and then that band will keep traveling closer to these SMA levels, and it will execute the trade only when the AC2 turns the trajectory either way, and if the rest of the conditions are fulfilled, the algorithm will be free to take trades. So let's see how far we can develop. Today we are almost running out of time, so because of that it will be a bit difficult. But even now, here we are done with this. So we bring in the calculation expression, and for the calculation expression we will need to utilize components and then mathematical, and here we got this calculation expression. We now connect this, and here we are. So we are going to need to define one as a shift 0 and another as a, so here we can utilize the bid and ask, and one should be of lowest value and another should be of highest value. So the output, it's good bid and the closing price. Instead of closing price, we take in the lowest price, and here we take the ask price, and with that the high price, and let's go back to the chart again, how we will need to structure this arrangement. So here the SMA is passing close. We need that first the price should be getting closer to the SMA, then it should consolidate, and when the momentum again starts to shift from bullish to bearish, we will be looking for a short sell positioning here, provided the underlying instrument is still trading close to the SMA level. And for that we will do this SMA plus 10 pips, and then SMA minus 10 pips, and then we will compare the min max values to that. So let's go to here, we bring in the value of the current SMA, and the current SMA is there. Now we define a new instrument, a new variable, create a new variable where we define the value to be of 10 pips, and it should be the SMA band, so I write SB, and the value is of 10 pips, and let me bring in the SB here. And when we were when we will be going for a buy trade, and if we are going for a buy trade, then we will need to make sure that the execution is happening within 10 pips range. Similarly, when we are going for a short sale, we will need to ensure that the trade is happening closer to the SMA zone. So first we will need to add ones to the SMA, and on another attempt we will need to reduce from the SMA, that is deduct from the SMA. So we do that, we bring in the default instrument pip size, and the default instrument is here. We add the pip size to that, and we get this line here. Again we will need the pip size in this algorithm as well, and the SB, it remains the same, and of course the line 42, that is also going to remain the same. The only difference is that in one calculation we will be doing the subtraction, whereas in the other we will be doing the deduction, subtraction. And now let's define it. We are creating a band of 10 pips on the either side of the SMA. So what we do A1 plus A2 into A3, and here is the result of the calculation. We define it as SMA band for euro. Save. Here A1 minus A2 into A3. And here the result of the calculation will be SME1. SME1. So far so good. What we have done so far, we have tried to create the algorithms using this SMA band, where we are trying to define the price band in the vicinity of this 50 SMA, and then we have also added the min max level, and we will need to do the comparing of the min max. So now when we will be looking for a short sale opportunity, what we will need to do is we compare the current minima. I think here we have not defined. We have defined low price and ask is of high price. So when we are looking for a short sale opportunity, so let me explain to you on the chart. So here, if we are looking for a short sale opportunity, the price should be within the 10 pips band on the upper side, or within the 10 pips band on the lower side. So we compare last 10 hours maxima, and that maxima should be less than this SME, that is line 42 plus 10 pips, and also the maxima should be greater than the SME1. So the requirement will be like this: the price, the last bid price should be less than SME, and it should be greater than the SME1. So here this is the execution zone, and that's what we are going to define using this setup developed so far. But now I think we won't be able to do the full development today, and then we will need to again get back together in tomorrow's session to develop the algorithm fully. But I hope you have got the point that in today's session we define this execution during the initial hours of the trend change, and then we brought in this SMA 50 to define the major trend, and then with that we are now trying to create the SMA band so that the order execution would be happening within this price range, either 10 pips on the either side, so that there is no major deviation from our requirement. But given the time constraint, I will need to now say goodbye and come tomorrow. It was pleasant to have you here. See you tomorrow.